Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and welcome back to Slave Ages Podcast. I'm your host, Preston Frazier. On this very special episode, episode number 7 of season 9, I talk about the Boz Scaggs album Dig from 2001. If you're new to the Slang of Ages podcast, this is a podcast about my favorite albums. What I do is talk season after season about my list of favorite albums. And of course, Boz Scaggs has many great albums. Dig is one of my favorites of his. And we'll go through his discography in a little bit. Before we get started, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Go over to YouTube and like and share the Slang of Ages podcast on YouTube. Subscribe there as well. And remember that my first book, Toto the Band, Not the Dog, is out on all major platforms. It's also out in physical form. So make sure you go and grab that. And of course, there's some mention of Boz Scaggs since he has a connection with Toto. And my second book, Yes Indeed, Tales from Yes, without John Anderson, is also out on all major platforms and also physical formats as well. My third book will be out probably by mid to the end of summer. I'm almost finished it. More to come on that. I'll have a special episode towards the end of this season, which is, of course, season 9, as I mentioned. But this is one of my favorite albums. I want to talk about Dig. And Dig came out in 2001. I don't know the exact date of it. And Dig didn't really do very well in the charts. I think it made number 146 on the Billboard Top 200 charts, which is a far cry from Boz Scaggs' heyday. Of course, he has had so many great albums, but Dig was not, it is a great album, but it's not one of his best sellers. Now, I'll go briefly over his discography because Boz has put out albums from 1965, the Boz album, to 2025, the Detour album. He's had Boz Scaggs, Moments, the Boz Scaggs Band, My Time, Slow Dancer, then hit it really big with Silk Degrees in 1976, number 2 album, Silk Degrees, then 1977, Down to the Left, which was a number 11 album, 1980, the Middleman album, number 8 album. Then he took a break to raise his family and get away from the music industry from 1980 to 1988. He came back with another great album, number 47's Other Roads, back in 1988. Some Changes, 1994. Then Fade into Light, 1996. Come On Home, 1997. Dig, we're talking about now, 2001. But Beautiful, 2003. Speak Slow, 2008. Memphis, 2013. A Fool to Care, 2015. Out of the Blues, 2018. As I mentioned, Detour was his latest album. So a great career, mostly based on R&B and some rock. You may remember that Boz started his career really in the Steve Miller Band as a singer and also as a rhythm guitarist. And the stuff he's doing now is really based on the blues. I saw him last year and he was fantastic. But let's get into Dig. So, as I mentioned, Dig came out in 2001. And I don't know the exact month, but I know it was after, I think it was after September 11th. And it had originally on it 11 tracks. Now you can find it on double sided vinyl, on two vinyl copies, 2 albums, vinyl copies. And you can also find it on CD. There is a special edition of Diggs out, which has a DVD where Boz talks about the production with his co-producer, David Page. So if you can find that, get that as well. The re-release of Dig, this version I have on vinyl, which has, again, 2 records, does not have a song Get on the Natch, which was originally number 5, but we're going to talk about Get on the Natch in a second. So let's get started with the basics. Boz Scaggs, singer and guitarist and the arranger. He brought in his friend David Page. And of course, you know David Page. We've talked about him a few times on this podcast, and we've also talked to him when we talked about his first and only so far solo release. David Page is a founding member of Toto, their main writer and the keyboardist of Toto. So he co-produced this album with Boz Scaggs, and it was, I believe, their second co-production together. They, of course, worked on Silk Degrees in 1976. Page co-wrote Silk Degrees, and almost all the members, actually all the members of Toto, played on Silk Degrees, and has contributed to Boz. Page has contributed to Boz Scaggs' career over the years, giving him songs and doing keyboards. He also helped Boz Scaggs with his last live album, producing that. So Page and Scaggs go way back, and Page does a really good job here in terms of the production, making it contemporary. The playing is very subtle. Also, a partner that Skaggs used on this album was Danny Korchmar. We talked about Danny Korchmar too when we talked about the Toto connection for the Kingdom of Desire album. And I think I had an interview of Danny Korchmar where I talked to him about the immediate family. Korchmar was a sideman of Jackson Brown for years, has played with Carol King, James Taylor, so many people. He's a solo artist in his own right and a great producer. Of course, working with Don Henley on Henley's first three solo albums, and a co-writer Don Henley. So those are the main principles on this album. The album was engineered by Peter Denzenberg and Steve McMillan. McMillan has worked extensively with Toto and Steve Lukather. And then Michael Rodriguez also contributes some playing, programming, and pre-production. Elliot Schneider does the mixing of this album. Bob Ludwig, the great Bob Ludwig, does the mastering on this album. So we're going to talk about all 11 songs. The first song is a song written by David Page and Boz Scaggs, though Skaggs did the music by himself, but Page contributed to Page did the contributed to the music with Skaggs, and Skaggs did all the word, and it's called Payday, which features on guitar Boz Scaggs, Danny Korshmar, and the great Ray Parker Jr. on rhythm guitar. Page handles the keyboards and synths, and Michael Rodriguez does the programming with Roy Hargrove Jr. handling the saxophone, and drums by Robin DiMengio. Now, one thing you'll notice about this album, and it's kind of a twist from all of Skaggs' prior albums, is he really wanted to have a hip hop modern feel to the album. So there are a lot of drum programs which are designed to sound almost like hip hop beats. There is very little bass guitar in this album. There's some synth bass, obviously, but very little um, bass guitar because Boz really wanted an album that sounded modern and he wanted to have a soulful feel. So it was very funky, has a great late night electronics feel, and almost a trip hop feel, which is something which is interesting for a person who at the time was probably in his early 50s. But Boz really wanted something which reflected the new millennium, and that's the sound he and Page went for. And to most part, in the most part, they were successful with that sound. Payday has a great feel to it. It's mid-tempo. The rhythm guitar, especially the licks by Korchmar and Ray Parker Jr., are R&B kind of licks. And Skaggs' vocals, where he's working the lower part of his range, are excellent. The lyrics start with, "Hey, you're stepping on my head. Why do you have to throw those rocks at my bed? Must be you shout, or you could kindly keep it down. Do we really need an apocalypse right now?" And it goes on to talk about um, someone trying to move forward in your life and looking for that great payday to help them get through. So album starts off funky, has those great guitar licks like I mentioned, and some great Fender Rhodes sounds from Page with some great synth parts and keyboard bass. That's the whole motif of the album, and it starts off strong. Then we go into the second song, which is called Sarah, and that was a song composed by Boz Scaggs on lyrics with help on music. Well, actually, all the music was done by Danny Korchmar with Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Lowe. So Skaggs did not contribute any of the music to the song, though he did the lyrics. And this song is a nice, romantic, slow burning song featuring mostly playing by Danny Korchmar. He did the production. He co-produced this actually. He did the programming. He did all the electric guitars. um, David Page contributed the synths, the Fender Rhodes sounds, the keyboard, piano sounds. Miss Monet contributed the backing vocals, and the percussion was done by Joe Bondelio. Another great R&B song. And I don't know. When I talked to Korchmar about this album, I don't know how he came to present the song to Skaggs. It sounded as if it's like one of the songs he would do with Don Henley, where he'd had the music done and this had Skaggs sit down and come up with lyrics, which he did. And the lyrics start off with thinking about Sarah, that's heaven to me. You don't know my girl, but she's all right as she can be. It's like yonder mockingbird in a cottonwood tree. You don't need change that. No, it's meant to be. So it's kind of, it talks about her being the soul of a Southern girl, has that nice groove, slow groove to it. And then it has those call and response vocals from Miss Monet in the backing. This song was not released as a single. I don't know actually what songs were released as a single from this album, but this song really shines brightly. It's one of the best songs on the album. And again, Skaggs did a great job with the vocals, and the production was fantastic. And it has a real soulful feel, even though there are very few real instruments on it. The next song on the album is probably my favorite. And this is a song where Michael Rodriguez, along with David Page and Boz Scaggs, did the music. This is another Boz Scaggs lyrics song where you have Michael Rodriguez handling the programming and the keyboards, and you have David Page handling the synths, along with Roy Hargrove Jr. on the horns, Korchmar on these beautiful, beautiful guitar parts, and Greg Fillinganes, who was formerly of Toto, and of course Michael Jackson, and you name it, he's played with them. He handles the acoustic pianos to have David Page. This song just is such beautiful R&B. It's a slick noir storytelling. It has a stylish mystery to it and a minimalist groove given to it by Rodriguez. It just, it's beautiful. And the drum program really is a touch of hi-hat, some bass drum, and some rim shots, and that's it. But it works well in its minimalist form. The lyrics start with the lyrics start with, "Hey Miss Riddle, I'm stuck in the middle again. I don't know how you got me playing both ends of a game I should know all about. That you came and turned inside out. Hey Miss Riddle, I'm stuck in the middle again." This song should have been a hit. This is a song from the album that Skaggs played last year when I saw him with his band. And I think John Harrington was the lead guitarist there. I don't think Skaggs played any guitar in this song, but it has such a beautiful groove. Most of it given to the song by the synth bass parts by Page, and again, Danny Korchmar's singular guitar. So I love Miss Riddle, my favorite song on the album. Then we come to the song Just to Go, which is the only song on the album, I believe, that um, that Skaggs wrote by himself. He did the music and he did the lyrics as well. And it's a nice, slow burning song. Again, Skaggs lets it all hang out vocally. It has a great feel to it. It is another song where Skaggs handles all the guitars in the song. Page handles all the keyboards. Here they bring in Nathan East on bass, so has real bass, and then hand percussion by Robert DiMaggio. So some congas and some shakers. And uh, it's just a great, slow burning song which moves the narrative, the album forward. And it just, it is beautiful. So after that, we get to the song which you may not be able to find. I don't think it's on iTunes. It might be on Amazon, and it's on the original versions, the original pressings of the album Dig. It's a song Get on the Natch. And I don't know much about this song. I know it was composed by Angelo Bond, General Johnson. It was Greg Perry and Danny Korchmar, with Boz Scaggs handling the lyrics. And it is an unusual song because it is not sung. Actually, Skaggs kind of raps the song in this low Texas drawl kind of thing. It's just a weird, weird sound for him. And it features Page on keyboards and synthesizers, and Korchmar on synthesizer programming, as well as on electric guitar. I believe it has a guitar solo by Steve Lukather. It's Lukather's only guitar solo on the album. He only appears in two songs, and the rest of it really is the programming by Danny Korchmar. I don't know what the lyrics mean. I have no idea what he's rapping about. It is um, low key funny. So if you can find a version of the album that has the song "Get on the Natch," get that version and let me know what you think of it in the comments. So the next song we get to is another classic. I think it's my second favorite song on the album. It is the song Desire. Words by Boz Scaggs, lyrics by, I'm sorry, words by Boz Scaggs, music by Boz Scaggs with David Page and the great Greg Filling Games. And this song, it is a great call and response vocal between Skaggs and Miss Monet. It features um, Skaggs on, I believe he's handling the electric guitar, the lead electric guitar, and Jenny Korchmar's handling the rhythm guitar, and you have David Page on keyboards and synths. Michael Rodriguez handling the programming, which includes basically the bass track. As I mentioned, Miss Monet on backing vocals, and Joe Bondio on percussion, hand percussion. Uh, Songs lyrically, it is about a broken heart. It's about loss. It's about focusing on what's important. It's about emotional isolation, and it's about really nighttime detachment and psychology and desire versus detachment. The lyrics start with the first verse: so much desire in the world today, so much of everything you can't give it away. You could be happy, but you're feeling so bad about what you never had. It's because you can't look at nothing without wanting it. And you know that's the truth. It goes on in that theme about things you don't have and things which are intoxicating you, things which are driving you in, things which you don't need. It is absolutely beautiful. Skaggs does a great job singing his ass off, and Miss Monet's backing vocals are just fantastic. Like I said, after Miss Riddle's my second favorite song on the album, one you have to seek out if you've never heard it. So after Desire, we go to the song Call It Love. And the pace picks up a little bit here with really a nice jaunty feel given to it by bass and drums, real bass and drums, handled by the great Steve Jordan. Of course, Steve Jordan, as you may know, played with Keith Richards in the Expensive Winos band. He's now the drummer for the Rolling Stones. He's a great producer. He's produced hundreds of albums, and he's a great drummer. Obviously, he can play bass, he can play everything. So he handles the bass and drums here. with Korchmar handling, Danny Korchmar handling the guitar, and David Page handling the keyboards, and you have Miss Monet on backing vocals. You also have nice horn touches from Roy Hargrove Jr. And it's a great, again, call and response vocal from Miss Monet. The song talks about um, dreams, desires, going back to the prior song, and what we think is love and what really isn't love. So, really, the theme of this album is about attachment. It's about aging without nostalgia. It's about emotional isolation. And it is really about romance. I love Call It Love. And there are no bad songs on this album. This is a really good one to seek out, though. The next song is called King of El Paso. And this song is one which was written by Boz Scaggs. And I think he wrote all the lyrics, and he also co-wrote the lyrics with Jack Applejack Walrath. I'm not sure who that is. I just should look him up. And Boz Scaggs wrote all the music for this one by himself. A little unusual because usually he's writing the lyrics by himself. But this one he wrote with again Jack Applejack Walrath, and it has minimalist production with Skaggs handling the electric guitar with Danny Korchmar, uh, all the keyboards and keyboard programming by David Page, and Miss Monet doing the backing vocals. And uh, this is probably one of the faster songs on the album. Has a good feel to it, and talks about a man running away from the past, running to the future, and how he wants to be the king of El Paso, and how he has his life built around that identity. Yeah, maybe it's the weakest song on the album. Not a bad song, but not my favorite song on the album. Probably the weakest one. The next song, the song "You're Not," is another great, great song. This one is a co-write with Danny Korchmar, who handled the music by himself, along with words only by Boz Scaggs, and it has some great kind of trip hop feel, which is given to it by Korchmar's keyboard programming and sequencing. Korchmar also handles all the guitars on the album and does this really funky lead electric sound, very reminiscent of one of the bands, one of his side bands that he played in, where he was working with a harmonica player. I don't remember the band right now, but Danny Korchmar is great with funky R&B licks, and you hear them all over this album. This song also features David Page on synthesizers and keyboards, and Page and Miss Monet on backing vocals, and that's it. And song just it is talking about disillusion, about emotional disconnection. I just love the feel for it. The lyrics start with, "I can read the paper, but I can't read you. Cancel my prescription. I'll take pay per view. Just a lover from another planet, made up to look like you. You're out there, honey, and this is out of hand. All the smoke and mirrors, some holographic stunt I'm going through, or is it voodoo? And I thought that your fingers don't leave your hand, they just touch me. They just don't touch me anymore. Well, I see your face, it's here. I like your voice, it's here. Your pretty pink mouth, it's hot. Everybody's here, but you're not." Just interesting wordsmith by Skaggs. It's funky, it's syncopated, and Korchmar's guitar parts, along with the Fender Rhodes sound and the clavinet sound that Korchmar and Page are getting, really work well in this song. It's funky. I love it. Probably my third favorite song on the album. Next song, we pick things up a little bit more with the song Vanishing Point. This is a co-write with lyrics by Skaggs with Dominique Giello, and music by Skaggs with David Page. And it really has a great, powerful feel to it. It's really just David Page on keyboards, programming and synths, Skaggs handling the guitars with Danny Kortchmar, and cello by Martin Tillman. Martin Tillman worked with Toto as well, I believe, on their last album. So um, it is talking about people running away from relationships, running to things. It's talking about a nocturnal driver's seat kind of groove, where the driver's leaving something and running to something less certain. And it's moody. The relationship, the lyrics focus on a moody relationship, yet it has a cinematic atmosphere to it. It is fun, it's funky, and it's fast paced. And it's a great lead into the last song on the album, which is Thanks to You. Thanks to You. Another co write, words by Boz Scaggs, music by Boz Scaggs and David Page. And this is a song which is a little unusual in that it does feature Steve Lukather on pedal steel, which is a instrument not usually associated with Steve Lukather of Toto, pedal steel. Then it's Skaggs and Danny Kortchmar on electric guitar, and horns by Roy Hargrove Jr., percussion or additional percussion by Robin DiMaggio rather, and David Page handling the synth bass, and keyboards. So some great Fender Rose playing by Page here. Nice, slow burning, soulful groove. I love Thanks to You. It's a great way to end the album. It has a combination of that digital feel to it and almost like a muscular muscle car groove. Um, Skaggs' voice with the synthetic funk backing is perfect. It has a really great emotional angle to it. And it talks about gratitude while it's wrapped up in a level of grief, and loss. And this album is a lot about grief and loss, where Skaggs is trying to come to grips with failure, loneliness, loss. He had some loss in terms of his immediate family. I believe one of his sons had died before this album, and he was dealing with that. So a lot of that is reflected in the lyrics for this album. So people may think this album is a downbeat album. I don't think so. I mean, the grooves are contemporary to this day. They're great. The production is minimalist by Page, yet it works, and it focuses really on the key things that you want from Boz Scaggs: his lyrics, his voice. Now, Boz Scaggs albums, as I mentioned, are pretty wide ranging, and people are probably used to some great guitar moments on his albums. Here, the guitars are very subtle, by Boz Scaggs and by, of course, Danny Kortchmar, but it's a great Boz Scaggs album. But it was not a successful Boz Scaggs album. I don't, like I mentioned, it didn't chart very high. It was it's probably his lowest charting album since 1972's My Time. And after Dig, But Beautiful, which was a wonderful cover album, jazz cover album, charted at 167. Speak Low, a jazz cover album, 128. Memphis, which I believe was nominated for a Grammy, as well as A Fool Would Care, charted much better. Out of the Blues in 2018 also was a Grammy nominated album, charted at 82. In 2025's Detour did not chart. Charts on everything. Boz Scaggs is a wonderful artist. He's a vital artist, great discography. Still touring. Like I mentioned, I saw him, I think it was last November, with a wonderful band. So if you get a chance to see Boz Scaggs, do it. I think the Slang of Ages podcast really is about where records don't age out, they age in. And this is an album which is definitely aged in very well. Dig from 2001. So that is episode number 7, season 9, Boz Scaggs Digs. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe. Please leave your feedback at Slang of Ages at me or my website, slangofages.com. Also, go over to YouTube and subscribe there to YouTube. The more subscribers helps me continue this process. I have a Patreon page going, and it's on Patreon. So go look for the Slang Of Ages Podcast. I want to thank my Patreon executive producers, Cynthia Tom, Cheryl Fraser, and Vinicio Cifuentes for their contributions to keep the podcast running. I'll be back in 2 weeks with another fantastic episode as we get closer to wrapping up season number 9. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.